The 14th Annual Missionfest Toronto brought together thousands of attendees of all ages for a 3-day focus on missions. Over 200 exhibitors, 9 dynamic seminars, women and youth forums, and worship artists filled the International Center for one purpose.
The heart of Missionfest is to encourage and engage people in missions. A lot of people go to small churches where they don't have a mission committee or they can't afford to bring in big international speakers, and they wouldn't be exposed to all the different things that people are doing all over the world. And so consequently, what happens at a Mission Fest is that people come and they hear all the different things that are going on. They get to meet the different mission agencies and the missionaries, and they get inspired to engage in what God is doing.
The focus of this year's Mission Fest was to educate and awaken people to the presence of local, national, and global missions on the streets, in the workplace, and all around.
People are always shocked. Put it this way, Danielle, they're always shocked when they come to Mission Fest and they say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that organization was in Toronto. I didn't know that they had a head office in Cambridge, Ontario, or London, Ontario, or whatever." People are shocked to find out that some of the missionaries that are working all over the world are based right in Southern Ontario. And so I think there is generally a lack of awareness for sure. And also, not only that, but gosh, when I think about it, when you just have to come to Mission Fest and go through the exhibit hall and see all of these booths and talk to all of the missionaries, and it just will change your heart. It changes your heart because you suddenly realize God is at work everywhere in the world, and He is highly involved in bringing people into the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And what we need to do as Christians is we need to come alongside Him and work right alongside Him and make that a reality.
The desire behind Mission Fest was to make Jesus' Great Commission to make disciples of all the nations a number one priority in the church. For 3 days, the International Center became a space where people could interact with and hear the stories and hearts of missionaries from all over.
Most churches are involved in different ways. It's just sometimes the smaller churches don't have the resources available to them. And then also some of the larger churches too get very inwardly focused because they've got huge programs and big buildings and all the infrastructure that it takes to run a huge organization to contend with. And so sometimes mission work is in their hearts, but it just doesn't get on the agenda. And so what we do at Mission Fest is we try and inspire people to get it back in first place.
The conference included life-changing testimonies and teachings from keynote speakers like Tony Campolo, Shane Claiborne, and Dr. Chris Maranka. Topics covered range from prophecy to the arts to global missions and persecutions.
Getting people enthusiastic about missions. I think part of what we do is we bring in speakers who are storytellers. If you can get people to come and listen to a story, they'll get curious, they'll get excited, they'll want to know more, they'll find out more, and then they'll start thinking to themselves, how can I get involved? What could I do?
To inspire the younger generation to get involved in the Great Commission at home and abroad, the conference hosted an Engage Youth Day. It was packed with free seminars, worship, and drama.
I think young people can do a lot more than what they think they can do. First of all, there's so many opportunities right in the city. They can be a mentor. They can work for an organization like Urban Promise. In the summertime, they can be counselors and they can be camp helpers. They can volunteer. There's just so many things that they can do. And then, there's the short-term missions trips that they can go on. My brother-in-law is an Anglican priest, and he takes a team all the time to Guatemala, and they build houses, and they do children's ministries, and they do all sorts of things. And the kids come back totally on fire for the Lord. So to me, there's a lot that youth can do.
The motivating force behind the conference was the theme, For His Namesake.
What does the Lord tell us to do? He tells us to build up treasures in heaven. He says, everything here is going to rot, right? Right? And wear out and get ruined. But when we do things that have an eternal impact, it is not only for our benefit, but it blesses him. And as a Christian, we want to bless the Lord, right? We want to bless the Lord. It's I think mission work is so important because it's at the heart of the Father. It's his heart is that people will be helped and saved. He says, what pleases God? It's when we help the widows and the orphans and when we visit those who are in prison, right? When you take a look at the chapter of Matthew 25 and you take a look at what really pleases God, it's when we do those things. And remember it says, when the people turn around to him and say, well, Lord, when did we do those things for you? When did we feed you and clothe you? And when did we do those things for you? Visit you when you were sick and so on. And he said, no. When you did it for the least of these, you do it for me. And that's why we do it. This year, our theme at Missionfest was, it's for his name's sake. And truly, that's why we do what we do. It is for his name's sake, the name above all other names. It's for Jesus, Yeshua. It's why we do what we do.
The 14th Annual Mission Fest saw lives changed, destinies determined, and the Father's heart revived in his people. For Images of You, I'm Danielle Byles.